everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio and welcome to July. I did work yesterday, but I had a video pre-done. I straightened out my office. I got everything for July ready, but this is the first time I have made a video in probably 12 days. And normally I do it 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes more if I have classes. But I do, I try to get 3 free tutorials up on my YouTube every week, and then I have all the class things I have to do in relation to that. So I feel like, oh my goodness, it's been a hot minute. So because we're in a new month, I have some new thank you gifts. So you can go to my website. If you go to my website and you're not on my email, then join my email list and you'll always know what the new host code is every month and what the new thank you gifts are. So I'll just show you a couple of them for this month. This one is the pecan pie and clear ribboned adhesive backed dots. I like that it has ribbon. I don't know if you can see it. You'll have to either get them free with a purchase from me or order them when the online exclusives go up tomorrow. The other thing is every month I am part of a group of the demonstrators from around the world, and we do a tutorial bundle. So you get 14 different tutorials. They're all in a PDF version, so you can read them. And they all have pictures. This month we did shaped cards. So here's mine. I'll just show it to you real quick. I used the birdhouse. So that's mine that is available. So every month if you spend $50 with me, then you get the tutorial bundle sent to you at no charge. You can also buy the bundle. It's I told you it's been a few days, $25. It's on my website. Actually, I spent $200 on software to sell the tutorials on my website, and I needed it to have a coupon code, and so this software said it had a coupon code. It does, but the only way you can do free is that it makes everything on your site free. So obviously that's not going to work for me. So the people don't give you your money back because they said I should have read all the fine print. I thought I did, but so right now there's not a lot of them. If you want to buy any of the bundles, just let me know and I can just send you a PayPal invoice. Also starting July 3rd, a couple of fun things. We have bonus days with Stampin' Up. So for every $50 you spend starting July 3rd through the end of the month, you'll get $5 in bonus bucks to use in August. So if you spend $100, you'll get 10. It does have to be like in $50 increments. So if you place a $48 order and a $52 order, you'd only get 1. So every order, it's that order by 50, and then they will send you an email that has those coupon codes in it. So you need to keep hold of those. So when August comes, you can just redeem those off. And people are always asking me if I have a code when they place an online order. You can get a code this way. That's what it's for, is when they do things like this. Also starting July 3rd, a whole slew of new online exclusives, some of which I have. I'm going to order some more on the 3rd myself. I knew that realistically I wasn't going to have time to stamp with them before we went on holidays. So here's a couple of them. This is the suite that I will be using for my online card club. So both of these tutorials are up. You can go watch it. I'm going to use one of the autumn ones. There's a lot of the sets I chose were fall and Christmas. There's some other sets as well. There's bundles, there's ribbons, there's papers, there's embellishments like the one I just showed you. So these are the embellishments that come with this particular suite. Tons of new paper. This paper here is not part, it's just a standalone paper. It's like a mercury vellum. It's really pretty. So that is on there, and that starts tomorrow. So I'm going to show you the Changing Leaves, which is an online exclusive. It is a hybrid set. We're going to use this set, Changing Leaves. I love the sentiments. I love the font. It's a nice clean font. So I've made the card once, and then I was getting everything set up. And as I was looking at just the set, so it may work, it may not work, we'll see. But it's called Changing Leaves. It comes with the dies, the stamps, and then the folder. But I thought it doesn't have to be an autumn set. So the first card I made, which you'll see at the end, has more autumn colors, but I decided there's no reason that leaves can't be perfectly summer. In fact, you could switch it up and do spring colors. You could do them in yellows and purples if you wanted in the spring. I think we'll see how it works. So let's do this card. I am going to use vanilla because I'm going to use this new woven ribbon, which is vanilla. If you're in Card Club, you are going to get this in Card Club this month. So it's a really pretty ribbon. We haven't had anything, at least recently, maybe in the last 30 years we have. I just don't remember anything that feels quite like that. So you're going to want to take your folder. And so it's a 6x6 size. We don't need all that on here. So I took my piece of vanilla cardstock. This is the other half sheet left from the one that on my other card. And so I cut 2 pieces that were 4 by 5 1/4. And that will be my card front. On this card I'm using Peacock. On the other one I used Blackberry Bliss. And then on this is what was left. So, you know, the second side until you cut it by 4 is a little bit bigger. So you'll take the bigger side of paper. It's not quite big enough, but it works. And it will fit just around the leaves that it's meant to cut. And then it kind of holds them in place. Then you're going to put this on here. On the other one, it didn't quite fit. And I'll show you what I mean. But I didn't want to cut a bigger piece of paper because I don't need it all. So I didn't care that I didn't have that whole stem because I knew in my mind the design that I was doing, I didn't need the stems. So you want to make sure all of the cutting portions that you want are under there, but it saves you having to have a 6x6 piece of paper. And then just gently close it shut and then hold it tightly. And then just double check and make sure your leaves are all encased in there. And it should close down on itself. And then you need our gray plate that goes in the cut and emboss machine. And it's just, you just want to do one pass through. So just lay this on here. If you still have the older Big Shot, these I imagine don't fit as great. They'd have to be perfectly straight. This one is a little wider. So just pop this in here, pull this through. And like I said, just once. And then when you pull this out, it will have cut and embossed your leaves. So if you want to do a winter card, then you don't need any color. Just do this in the vanilla. You could do it in white. It would make a really pretty winter card. And then you can see there's a little bit of scrap. So we're going to do our stamping and then we're going to come back and use some more dies in the folder again. But let's stamp first. So I have, this is where we're going to change the colors up. One of them I left the same. So I have this 4 by 5 1/4 sheet of vanilla. You want to start with your largest leaf, and because it's the largest leaf, it will take up the most space, and it will also, my nails do not go with any of the cards I'm going to make this week. But you know, it's 4th of July. It's also my daughter's birthday. So when I pick the largest, I usually go for the lightest color as well. Although when I switched them up, Lost Lagoon may be a little bit lighter, and I don't need that whole giant stem on here, so I'm not going to even ink the whole thing up. So I'll get one there. This is wild wheat. It dries much lighter than when it first stamps. And we'll get 2 of these on here. And then you are going to take your leaf that is cut and embossed, and because these are photopolymer, we're just going to stamp some color right over the top of it. It does not have to be perfect, but it's pretty easy to do because you can see straight through it. See? And then pull that up. And then we have a fun leaf that's got some color and some texture. And then let's do, since I switched the colors, now I have to decide. Now I'm going to go with my next lightest color, which is Lost Lagoon, for my next largest leaf. And this one's also solid. The last one is more of a open design, so I can stamp over things and it will be okay. I did clean this. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that my copper clay, which I used on the first card, wasn't gonna still be on there. So just kind of fill this in a little bit. And then we'll start to do a little bit of overlapping. And then we'll grab the coordinating leaf. You can just stamp these and then use the big die, this die, to just cut them out as well. So if I stamped this, I could just line this up and cut it out if you don't want the embossing part on it, but the texture is really cool. That one. And now I'm going to switch to Pretty Peacock. So the colors, the first time I used, like I said, I chose fall colors. The second time, I wanted to use everything the same. So the ribbon, the embellishments that I used, I wanted to just switch it to greens and have it match. So that's why I have the Pretty Peacock. I started with that. I knew I wanted to keep the Wild Wheat because I really liked that on this card because I'm going with some gold. So what I'm trying to avoid on this, because we're going to put that bouquet of leaves in the middle, I don't want stems. So anytime you stamp our flowers or our leaves and there's a bunch of stems, you don't want a whole bunch of stems in the middle of your card. That's why I'm kind of angling them all so they go out. A little bit more up here. That's good. And then we'll get our last leaf. We have that. So I chose the You Are Amazing. This is a piece of scrap from one of my other videos where I made shimmer paper. So it's a little bit shimmery. It says you are amazing in every single way. Now, in June I did quick and easy summer cards. This one does not take a long time, but it's definitely not as quick and easy as some of the other ones were. I do want to add a little bit of coloring. So I'm just going to start with my lightest color, which is the Wild Wheat. And I have my blender pen. You want to be careful. It could pill on our regular basic cardstocks, the basic white and basic vanilla. But I am literally just brushing some color so it kind of fills in those leaves. And let's grab this one. We did the same on it. It kind of highlights the little raised up portions from the embossing part. And I'm just adding like streaks of color. I'm trying to keep it a little bit more artsy. Let's swap sides. I feel like that's the side I used yesterday. Now we'll go to the next lightest color. Fill these in. And then over here. And then we'll do our peacock, which is the darkest. Doesn't really matter how long the dry time is on these, it will always do it, but the quicker you get to it after you stamp, the more it smears. But you may not want it, like my Blackberry Bliss on the other card, it smears really nicely. As does this one. It just gives a little bit more hint of color against all that vanilla. And then do the same for this. So you can see I didn't like try to shade, but if you just color some and leave some vanilla, it looks like you shaded. So that's all the coloring. So it's still pretty quick and easy. And the nice thing about this card is the way that I do it, I can tell I'm gonna like this one, is you could easily like grab this stuff before you go off to camp or to the lake or on vacation and just take different colors and you'd be able to make it work. So I'm gonna lay this back in here. The side that says Stampin' Up! Is always the side you want to go on top. So here is the design, right? I don't want that design. I want some of these smaller leaves to be a background. So I'm gonna pop this in here. Put it right to the edge. The nice thing about this one, it doesn't have to be straight. But I didn't want these to be in the exact same place in a minute when I go to put my bouquet of leaves on. I want to make sure that none of them hit exactly where their counterpart was. So this is going in a different direction. So we'll whiz this through. And you're gonna love how pretty this is. because it just adds, you can see on the back, you could actually do this one backwards as well, but it just gives more leaf pattern in there. It looks like the forest floor. Now we're going to switch from our gray plate and take away the folder and go back over just to our regular cutting setup. So you need your bottom plate and then one to cut on, which I'm going to use this one. This set comes with 3 stitched shapes to use to cut out your sentiments. Of course, I've buried all of my things. And it comes with 4 leaves that you can cut out. Well, this wasn't quite long enough, but we'll make it work. I'm going to go this way with it. And then I have some gold foil. I was going to get our new metallic textured stuff out, but I really wanted, especially for my fall card, to have it be crisp and clean, and the textured has a little bit more realistic feel to it. Not realistic, that's not the right word. Let me think of the word. I don't know. It's just a more earthy. And I wanted this to be bright on those fall colors. But I think that will work here too. So I'm going to do 2 of these. It comes with this solid leaf and then more of a stem, which I did cut the stem the first time. It was just, you didn't need that much because there's a lot of leaves going on this card. So I wanted the open and airy ones. So let's just roll these through once. When you roll, just hold on to it till your papers go through. And it just takes one pass. And we'll just stick this all together. I have stuff flying everywhere. So we'll fold our peacock piece in half to have it ready, because once we get this ribbon on here, we'll want to be able to attach it to our project. So I'm going to put this here. That looks nice and summery. You Are Amazing in Every Single Way is not a sympathy card, but the leaves would make great sympathy cards, not with the sentiment I just stamped, but you could switch that up. So we'll have this here. I'm going to start with, again, my largest leaf. And I want the top to kind of lift up off the card, so I'm only going to put adhesive on the bottom 3 leaves. Stick that in there, and then we have our next largest. And we'll go this way. And then I'm going to grab my dimensionals to add this one. I'll pull this one over this way. Here's this, and you can see that because it didn't fit, I'm just going to put it so it butts up against it. So I didn't waste that pretty shimmer paper I made. And I didn't have another piece of vanilla just laying here on the table. So I'll show you what I did on my other one. It also did not fit perfectly, but it works on the card because I used a different piece of paper on that one. Let's pull these out. This could also be a great masculine card. You probably won't want to put the pearls on it that I'm putting. You could put the butterflies or some of the more brown or just basic embellishments. But I'm using the ones I picked for the other card because that's how I switched to these greens. It's from the embellishments. Well, that made a mess, didn't it? So let's grab again. You always start with the biggest. Get all these pieces out of here. I had my husband, this is an old work table, like old, and when I first got it, it was brown, and I had him cut the slats in it and paint it white, so it's a lovely farmhouse looking table now, but every time I do these die cuts, everything gets stuck in the grooves. I have a little hand vacuum that charges with your computer. Add that there. A lot of times I will leave these pieces in because I like the interest, but I don't want it to cover up my leaves. So on this particular card, I'm popping them all out. Plus it just makes it a little bit of a bigger mess there. And then on my other card, I used, this is the 2022, 2024 in color twine. I have to think about my ears. I used the copper on the other card because that color was in it. I think I'll use some brown on this one. I wanted, like I said, I wanted to use the exact same thing, but none of the colors, the wild weed is in there. It was a bit, I think it's too much gold. Let's see. Because I started to use wild weed on my other card and I switched. Yeah, I think that's too much of the gold color. Especially if we're trying to keep this a little bit more of the summer look. The brown will do well. So it comes in 3 strands wound together. So I'm just going to pull them apart. Just keep twisting and they come right apart. In fact, you can do it if you want a fuzzy one. Do one of the 3 that you're now going to get and roll it again. And it gets a little fuzzy. I'm going to take this. Here's a little tip for you. You can get your glue out, but I did not use glue on my other card, but you can take the middle of your dimensionals, and I am just going to add some adhesive, and it doesn't stick to this. It just sticks to what you're sticking it onto. So let's lift this up, and we'll just add a little bit of highlights of some twigs, and that's enough adhesive to hold that on there. I don't want all of them to be even, so this one I'm going to fold so one end is longer than the next. If you do them all even and you see them on your card and you're like, that looks too, I want it to look more organic, and if you do them even, it doesn't, you could trim them. Stick that one under there. We have one more. So there you go. There's nothing stuck on your scrap paper. You just have that. Sometimes I keep an empty sheet of that just to have laying on my working space. This one I did not put here on the other card, but when I was done, I was like, I should have had one that was under the sentiment. So we'll grab this. And then I'm going to use the ribbon that you get in Card Club. And I'm going to do a tiny bow. So start at the end. You can always start with a bigger bow because they are easier to tie bigger. Maybe if I can pull this through, there we go. And then just kind of work it down so it's small, because that's way too big, but just keep working it down till it's smaller. Give it a nice tug. That's better. And then we want it to go across here. And this is why we got this piece ready. Oops. Well, I have gold leaves everywhere. It's falling, definitely falling in here. And then I'm going to add this, and that will keep this where I want it to be. It's not under the bow, but that looks good. Let me go ahead and grab my tag. Let this go a little bit over so I can trim it so it's straight. It's not quite straight. Put this over. I'm going to go ahead and have I have little hairies from all over that brown ribbon coming out. I'm going to make sure that you're going to have some that will grab the ribbon. Around, and then I'm going to go ahead and make sure I cut this. Beautiful. Now you can also take this fun tip and then just make some of these so they're a little bit more separated. Just kind of pull them apart. Just like that. You don't want to do it too much because you can see it takes it right out. But it also adds a nice little touch of whimsy to it. So originally I wanted to use these because they were the free gift with purchase and they didn't match my card because, you know, I have the gold going. I didn't want to add silver. Do a winter card with these and do blues and whites and use the silver. That would be beautiful. Do these in silver instead or even in blue. This actually would work now because I have the Pebbled Path twine on it, but I still want to use my originals. So these are from, I think they're from last year's holiday catalog. They're the Blooming Pearls. Maybe they were from last, I don't know. But they're in the new, I always write it on here so I know, because sometimes I'm like, are those retired? So I started a new system. And you can see now it's got these greens, it's got the gold, it's got these. On my other card, I only used the gold. This one we'll be able to use a little bit more of the colors. And my two favorite tips on my take your pick tool, which I have several take your pick tools. So, but these have a fun green and gold both in them. There's two sizes. There's tiny ones and large ones. And you want an odd number. So there's that color. Let's do this color. And I'm going to kind of keep my colors together. And then we have the gold. So there is 6, but we need to have an odd number. So which color? I kind of like this one. I kind of like the peacock. I don't remember what the other color is because I didn't pull that off till it's, well, it looks like this is gone. Yeah, go away from vacation and all your stuff is gone. We'll do it this way. Let's do it right here. You just want to have an odd number to kind of set those off. My table is a mess between the dimensional backs and all of this gold. It's a hot mess. And the little bit of flimsies. So here's a summer version. I think that works, don't you? And see what I mean? You could change this to sympathy saying, and I think it'd make a great sympathy card. I have a couple of sympathy cards I need to get in the mail. Here it is in the fall. So this one is Copper Clay, Blackberry Bliss, and then the Wild Wheat. So 2 of the colors swapped. The ribbon is from the same, and this ribbon's the same, and then the twine is from the same package of ribbon, and the embellishments are from the same package, obviously, the embellishments. This one I only used the gold. So you could grab this bundle, and I think it would be beautiful in a winter one, and it would be equally pretty in spring. I don't know. I think if I was doing a spring version, I would opt out of not having the maple kind of leaf on there because those aren't really bloomed in the spring. But you could get the other ones in yellows and purples, or like a Granny Apple Green, one of our lighter, brighter greens. Even Summer Splash would be pretty. Now I kind of want to do a card in all of them, but I want to get to my other sets, and I promised a club card this week, so I got to get to that. So online exclusives start July 3rd. Bonus bucks start July 3rd. I have new thank you gifts. So head to my website and catch it and see it all there. Have a great one. Bye.